Welcome to the Gentleman's Talk, where the podcast talks about a man's battle with mental health, his personal experiences, and his journey to be a better soul. Hosted by James Dean Littlejohn.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Gentleman's Talk. And here I am, embracing the excitement in my voice, because yesterday really helped. And by yesterday, I mean my last podcast, depending on when you're listening to it, of course. Really helped, and it actually prompted my friends, actually, which was an indirect reward, because it wasn't intentional. It was just me talking about my feelings. It was just talking about my process, talking about my mental health journey. So there was no, there was no malice in it. There was no resentment. There was no sort of kind of animosity. It was just me talking. It's how I challenge myself to progress, to embrace my feelings and talk about them and be open and honest about them. This is a platform that I really enjoy getting to know and analyse my battles. And it was interesting, actually, because I had one of my friends who I openly spoke about yesterday, and he thought he'd upset me, and he was like, "Dude, are you okay? I hope I haven't upset you." And I was like, "Oh, no, you've not upset me." A bit of feedback to and from. I can see how that was being perceived from listening, but it wasn't intentional. It was more on the fact that I was just really invested in analysing it, because I couldn't let go of it. So because I couldn't let go, I wanted to talk it out and let it, and almost use that as a way of letting go and talking, analysing, and going over everything. So it just happens to be that the thing that works for me is talking to a microphone. I enjoy it. I enjoy the process, and it does make me feel much better. This morning I woke up more positive. I also got stuck back into the motivational minute, and here I am really encouraged to talk again. So it's like, it does help, it does work, and it sort of brings me nicely onto today's topic. And I've spoke about this before, actually, and I talk about it a lot because I think it's one of the most important factors of mental health, is motivation. And it's so easy when you lose motivation to blame others, to blame circumstances, and realistically, it's not. It's nothing to do with those circumstances. It's how you interpret life. And I've spoke about it, and I've spoke openly about it. But this is me just diving a bit more into the topic, and getting a bit more involved. I was active last night. I said, my family have gone away, so it's weird because I analysed that, and I used to enjoy the week off. I used to enjoy this because I have 3 dogs, and the kids like to get away on a holiday. So to reduce costs, because with 3 dogs, putting them in care, if you like, into a kennel or something like that, is quite expensive. And because one of my dogs is a large-boned German Shepherd at 43 kilograms. He's a bit of a beast. He's actually placid as hell, but at the same time, he's still a German Shepherd. So you still have to recognise that he is a strong dog. So it's really unfair of me to assume that someone can have him for a week. There's people out there that would love him for a week, that sort of kind of, that know me and know him, and would probably love him for a week. But I just feel, I don't want to intrude on other people's, other people's lives and impact them. And, also, I know what it's like if I've looked after pets before, and I reflect back, heavily to when I was looking after a cat for a friend of mine, and the cat had, unfortunately, it was sold early. So when she took it to the vet, they were like, "No, this cat's like 6 weeks old. It should have been 8 or something, or even 12. I don't know. I'm not really a cat person, but it was sold to them early. So on the back of that, it became ill, and it was touch and go. She, a colleague of mine, was going away, and she needed someone to care for the cat for the weekend. She was going back up to her home, And I said, I'll look after the cat because, at the time I had nothing to do in evenings and weekends. So I went round, but it incorporated feeding this cat medication. And, I'm all for that because, it has, there has to be, it needed to be kept alive. So the medication was important. However, I'm not a cat person. So with dogs, it's quite easy. You put a tablet in with a bit of jam or a bit of ham, and that will be wolfed down, chewed down. And if not, there is ways if you pull back their jaw, not pull back the jaw, but open their jaw, pull back the flap of jaw skin, the part of the face. And if you stuff it at the back, just at the back of the tongue and touch the back of the tongue, they have to swallow. They can't spit it out. So I know all this. Well, cats are a little bit more unpredictable, shall we say. And when you try and administer a medication for a cat, especially a tablet that is probably about the same size as the cat, because it was premature, so to speak, premature, but it was should have been still with its mother. That cat learned to ultimately hate me. I saved it because I kept up with the medication routine, but it didn't like me for the rest of its life. And every time I saw it, it absolutely despised me. So I'm conscious of that, and if something happened to my dog, whilst I was away, I wouldn't want that burden to go on because I think a lot of my dog. He was ultimately, unfortunately for me, and I say this in the loosest terms, I purchased the dog, and I have to say I bought him because I did, to get me back motivation, to get my motivation back, if you like. I was in a slump. I just had my accident, so and I couldn't walk very well because my back was completely and utterly crippled because of the high impact of the car crash. So I was. Oh, that's me telling him. That's me telling him it's dinner time. So I, indirectly, kind of managed it a little bit and thought, well, I'll get a dog and that'll get me out and about. And I wanted a big dog because I've had small dogs all my life. And we had a couple of Shih Tzus at the same time. So I was like, if you get a big dog, they'll all just, bundle him and treat him like a toy himself. The downside to that is I've had him now for 9 years. So he's very, sorry, not him. I'm very, very, very attached to my dog because he helped me, and I maintain that he was the one that kept me focused. He kept me happy. Even now, just talking about him and where I know that this is going to lead, it really does grip me, really does make me feel sad that one day I have to part with somebody that's been such a prevalent part of my life. I've had dogs before, and I've put dogs down before through age, etc., and that was hard enough. It crippled me, actually. I don't know what I'll do when I finally see the day that I lose my dog. I'm going to stop talking, actually, because that is really, really affecting me. So I'm not going to talk about that any longer, but I understand. So, but anyway, going back before I digressed, so I used to enjoy this week because I used to live away for 7 years, and this used to be a week where I'd pot around my house or the house. I'd feel part of a family rather than living in a room of someone's house. I actually felt part of something, and it was the only time I really felt part of something. That and probably Christmas, because Christmas was a relaxing time to be around family and friends. So I used to enjoy it. So I kind of embraced it a little bit. I was kind of like, I'll look at this week as a nice recuperation week. But already I'm not enjoying it because I'm used to that little bit of noise. I'm used to that company. I'm used to people being around me. And I have this little comfort zone, my little office stroke bar stroke lounge that I use to get away from the noise when it's appropriate, really. So to go into a house, my dogs are subdued as well, so they're used to the noise. So we've got a lot of company. They sit out, in fact, literally sat outside in the sun now, right outside the right outside the office, so I get to see them, and they come in and jump on the sofa in here, and I get to spend a bit of time with them, which does help me. But I did notice that I'm not enjoying it as much as I thought I would, because I like the company. So yeah, it kind of, brought me on, and what I did do last night was ultimately talk about the motivational factor, or research the motivational factor, and I really wanted to try and understand myself, how to get back on the motivation train, as they call it. I'm just going to sip a little drink as I move along, and looked into the motivational factor. And I understand and appreciate that motivation can be lost, and is almost most people struggle with motivation in general, and you don't have to have an underlying condition, mental health condition, excuse me, to suffer from a motivational factor. We all have motivational struggles through life. There's times where you could be at an age and the motivational factor is, I don't know what I'm doing. What's my purpose? I've spoke about that before. The motivational factor is, no one's talking to me. I've got no friends. So, you kind of lose a struggle of motivation, or you want to go on holiday, but you don't want to go on. There's a mountain of motivational struggles that we experience on a daily basis. But it's even more challenging when you have a mental health issue, especially depression and anxiety. It's really, that's one of my biggest struggles. And one of the topics I was going to talk about today, but I won't, because was basically where I wanted to. This is about the same sort of point I start losing a little bit of motivation, because I work on the basis of getting that gratification from ensuring I'm helping people. And like I said, because I've lost contact with my friends, and I don't mean lose contact as in like, oh, they've all buggered off, but because we haven't spoken for a long time, and I've been a bit lonely, and I haven't got that sort of kind of inspiration around me, and this is where I talk about, and I spoke about yesterday, and probably tried to make it a bit more prevalent on that side, but maybe I didn't succeed, was my friends issue motivation for me, because they give me the gratification, even if it's in small little doses, like, that was a great podcast. As long as it's from the heart, I don't want it to just say it, and I'll always understand if it's not from the heart. I can always tell. But I lost a little bit of motivation, and there was loads of little mini factors that contributed towards that, as I spoke about yesterday. So, but one of the topics I want to talk about, which I'm actually going to talk about tomorrow, because it is where I am, why I'm here, and I felt the same lack of motivation that I felt on my first project that was supposed to change my life, if you like. And it didn't work out. I hit a few troll barriers, and I mean troll barriers by internet trolls. So this was kind of removing it from the need to want, or the need or the requirement for them to help me to get my goal, to be focused and motivated. So that didn't work. So I had to almost go back to the the drawing board and find something that I didn't have to rely on other people to get that goal. I had to just do it myself, and that's where this podcast comes in. But it's still really important to understand when people are listening to you, and they're receiving that information, that it's really nice to offer your feedback, to offer support, because hopefully you've got help from me, and that is kind of the help that I need from you, if you like. So I've felt that a little bit, and it drew me on to the motivational factor. And I was sat there last night, and I was like, how the hell do I stay focused? There's got to be some sort of research out there, something that can give me a little bit of inspiration on how to keep motivated, and understand it, because I'm very much one of these ones, and that was where the podcast came in yesterday. Was I talk about things, I analyze things, I learn from it, I educate myself from it, and hopefully I'm a better person at the end of it. That's my process, so I get stuck into education so I can be a better manager, a better leader, a better colleague, whatever I need to be. I learn for that aspect. I experiment and, research and try new things with family, friends and loved ones so that I can be a better friend and be a better person, be a better lover, be a better husband, be a better father, whatever. It's a continuous improvement, and I'm continuously trying to develop myself all the time, because I've realised for 10 years I've not been at the top of my game in any of those areas. So I want to be a better person, and that's where this comes in, and this is where I talk about this. So there's never any malice in it. It's just a way of me analysing things. And I understand that most people want to change at least one thing in their life. They really do. And that is where the motivational factor comes in. And it can be a challenge to find the motivation, or even to know where to start. But one of the biggest things that I read and understood yesterday was you need to understand what the motivation means to you so you can find the way to get motivated. So if you know what you want to get motivation for, say you want to lose weight, say you want to be a better lover, say you want to be a better, husband, a better father, whatever, research is out there, because the internet, the internet can be used for everything. It's not just for porn. Okay, men. So I know that a lot of you out there be like, oh, really? Because every time I put in something, motivation, Google motivation, I'm sure something will come up to do with porn at some point in the list. But the internet is a world of information, and I do get consumed by it quite a bit. But you need to understand what that motivation is for you and what it means to you, and that will give you your inspiration. Motivation is the drive, it's the focus to get your goals, and it's always influenced by how much do you want that goal, what will you gain from that goal, and what your personal expectations are. And to break that down a little bit more, how much do you want the goal? Okay, well, I want the goal because my goal is to, for me personally, I have two really prevalent goals. I wanted to be a senior executive officer within, or at least actually, I didn't want to be a senior. I want to be a higher executive officer within my first year of my new employment. I've managed to get to senior, the one above, senior executive officer within a year. So 10 days before the year point. So that to me was worth it. That was a lot of hard work. So I reached that goal quite early, and that was an ambitious goal, if I'm honest, because not many people think, oh, I'm going to go for a senior executive officer role straight away. I want to learn it. I felt I could do the job, and I do feel I can do the job, and I can do the job. So that was a goal for me, and the inspirational, what will I gain from that? Well, I gained financial gain, and I gained experience, and I gained kudos with other colleagues that I've managed to do that. So instantly I've jumped into this role, and I've given myself my next goal, because it was a really important goal. I got a lot out of it. My next goal is to get to the next level, which is grade 6, which becomes serious. That's when you start talking the bigger money, the bigger responsibilities, and that to me is my next goal, and I want that by 45. So I've got 5 years. In that 5 years, I've got a year. So at the moment, I'm on a technical status for health and safety in the IOSH category, and I want to, in the next 5 years, so I've got 6 months to get my graduate IOSH, and hopefully in the next 5 years I'll get my chartered status and my B2, as they call it. That's my 5-year goal. So my 5-year goal, and I think that's achievable because I'm on that path to get there. So I think it's an achievable goal. What are my personal expectations? I don't really have personal expectations. I'm just going to do what I've been doing, which is learning, advising, and supporting. Just carry on. So, but you need to break yourself down into those important categories and make sure. And one thing that I haven't really spoke about is make sure they're achievable. That's a really important part. But motivation, like I said, analyze your goals, look at what you want to achieve, and set yourself that goal. So how much do you want that goal? Okay, well, to put it in as probably a little bit more of a relatable term, I want to lose weight. Okay, I'm 14 stone, for instance. I want to get down to 12 stone because it's a healthy weight. How much do I want the goal? I want the goal a lot because I want to feel healthy. I want to build my confidence. I want to feel better, and I want to feel healthier, and I want a little bit more energy. So those are the types of things that I would do, and they're quite important reasons of why I would want that goal. What will I gain from that goal? Well, just that goal alone. We're using an example. I'll gain, I'll fit into my clothes better. I'll feel more confident, which gives me drive to the next goal. I'll feel healthier, and obviously with feeling more confident, you then become a better friend, husband, lover, whatever, colleague. You'll be a better person. And your expectations are, well, if I set that goal of 2 stone and I said to myself, I want to lose 2 stone and I want to do it in 4 weeks. It's not achievable, mate. It is, but you're going to probably make yourself ill, and you're probably going to overwork yourself to the point where you'll probably get to the end of your 4 weeks. You probably lost the weight to the detriment of your own actual health because you've crash dieted. And what you've done is you've forced a situation and you've not enjoyed the process. So something for me would be 2 stones quite a lot. So I would probably set that at 6 to 8 months would be my category. So that's a realistic goal. That's 6 to 8 months to change my eating habits, change my fitness lifestyle, and start seeing results. Because the last stone will always be the hardest anyway. So why is it important to be motivated? Well, motivation is important because, it provides you with the goal to work towards. So if you look at what is motivation, and the motivation was those driving factors, if you look at why is that motivation then important, what it does is it provides you with the goals to work towards. It helps you solve problems in everyday life, helps you change old habits, and helps you cope with the challenges and opportunities that you'll face on a daily basis. Excuse me a second, I just need to check that light was in my eyes. So, it's a really important factor. I've got some really good tunes on. It's telling me, that's telling me it's dinner time again. It's telling me that you need to remember it's dinner time, James. Motivation is important because, what it's going to do is once you've reached the goal that you want and how much you want the goal and what you'll gain from that goal and what your personal expectations are, and you've managed all them properly. We're not just talking about, like I said, jumping in feet first and wanting to lose 2 stone in 4 weeks, because it can be achieved, but it's not realistic. But what you can do is then, and we'll stick with that analogy, and we'll work on the premise of why is it important. Well, what that will do is it will provide you with a goal to work towards. So now you've got focus. So now you've got a goal. You want to lose 2 stone in 6 to 8 months. You've now got something to focus on for the next 6 to 8 months. That's the most important part, because that is what gives you that driving factor on a daily basis to get up and commit. It keeps your brain occupied. It keeps your brain at the back of your mind. You'll always have that in the back of your mind then, because you'll start seeing weight loss. Your confidence will naturally increase. And what it will do is help you sorry, my dog's barking. It will help you solve problems. It will help you because you got to the point where you've met this. My dog's going to get. He's barking out the back because I can't. I'm on my own, you see. But it's going to help you solve problems. It's going to help you, if you can understand that you've got this goal and you're working towards it, you'll then have the ability to start changing those old habits. So you've recognized that you've got motivation. You've set yourself a realistic goal. You're now already changing old habits, because before you would have eaten unhealthy. You would have just gone for that biscuit. You'd have gone for the packet of crisps, or you'd gone for the Coke or whatever. Before you know it, you're unhealthy, fizzy drinks everywhere, crisps everywhere, sweets everywhere, and you're in that rut again. But what you've got now is you've got a realistic expectation. You've got a goal that is achievable, and it's a desired goal as well. So you're committed instantly because it's a goal that you want. It provides you've now got that goal to work towards. So you've got a reason to get up every day. you're going to change your old habits from eating, and you're going to discover new things to eat, new things to learn. So you're learning something. And this is how important having a goal is. And it helps you cope with the challenges and opportunities that you face on a daily basis. Because if you can focus on something and you're achieving it, what you're doing then is you're problem solving. So you're giving yourself that confidence. You feel better about yourself. You know that you can achieve it. You've woken up and you've done it. So you've woken up and you've gone, I'm not going to reach for the, whatever. I'm not going to reach for the cereal, the Frosties. I'm not going to reach for the jam on toast, or the pancakes, whatever you have for your breakfast. But actually, I'm going to have a nice bit of seeded bread with, I don't know, poached eggs, a little bit of cracked black pepper. By the way, this is what I like, so you'll understand why I'm getting getting some salivation for that. But and a bit of avocado. So you've looked into it and you've got, okay, I've got good fats, I've got protein, I've got good seeded bread, fibre. I'm not eating white bread. So you're already changing your old habits. So if you can do that in your daily routine, you'll do that and you'll incorporate that into your life naturally. And that is what is really, really, really important. And as I said to you before, most people do struggle with this motivation on a daily basis. But it's even more, and I can't emphasize, it's so much more prevalent when you have a mental health condition. And I'm not saying that we are different. I'm not saying that we need, people with mental health conditions need that little bit more. We've understood they do. I had the battle this morning that I just didn't want to be in work. I just wanted to sleep, and that's, I felt that day, although I woke up this morning with that motivation had been lost. I quickly kicked it in and went, no, James, you're going to talk about motivation today on your podcast and you're going to get yourself focused. So I'd pulled myself out of the...
Could you say it again?
No, I'm not listening to you, Siri. Listening to my thoughts. So it's given me that factor. It's given me that drive. And it did. It woke me up. I started my day at 7:30, and by 8:15, I was like, I'm just going to log off and go back to bed. I had a word with myself. And I got through the day on the basis that I knew that in my dinner hour, I was going to sit there and talk to you. So that gave me that drive. That gave me that motivation. But some tips really that I researched yesterday that was mental health, to give you that little bit of support with mental health, is, set yourself one specific achievable goal rather than setting yourself, like I've done before, and we're talking an abundance of goals. I want to do this, this and this, and I had such a thirst to learn that, last year I took on a level 6 degree, I took on a level 3 teaching qualification, as well as doing about 8 courses for my job. So I massively overwhelmed myself, but that was on the basis that I wanted to get to a senior level, back to where I was in my old job within a year. So I had to do that. I had to push myself to my boundaries and break myself out of the comfort zone to get my achievement. Now, I'd already set myself that goal, so I was comfortable with where it was going to take me, and it did take me out of that comfort zone. So I'd already recognised that, and I knew that it was going to be a struggle, and I've battled, and I've pushed myself to the edge, but I'm here now reaping those rewards. So a year's worth of hard work has successfully rewarded me, and it's given me that drive again, because I've achieved it, and I've gone, well, you can do it, James. And this is what I'm talking about. So I set myself one specific goal. There was a lot of things incorporated in that goal, but it was only really to get to one goal, and that was to get to a senior executive level. So I gave myself that achievable goal. Think about how you're going to include that goal in your life, and what you need to do to make it happen, and then put a time frame on it. And as I said to you before, an achievable time frame is really important. Like I said, losing weight. If you set yourself a 4-week goal, you're going to absolutely bust your bollocks for 4 weeks, and then afterwards you're going to crash because you've starved yourself and you've run yourself into the ground, that you're just going to end up regressing back into the old habits, because your body's going to start craving energy. It's going to start craving carbohydrates. So you're just going to binge eat pizzas and all the other stuff. I've done it before. I'd done it previously, years ago, when I lost a lot of weight for a school reunion. We are talking a long time ago. But I went to the point where I was quite overweight. I was about 14 stone, I think. And I just said, we got a school reunion in 2 months, and I don't feel happy. I wanted to turn up and feel good about myself. So I went from couch to 7 miles a day in 2 weeks. So I was running, running 3 miles. My first run, I did about 100 yards, called the ambulance and got back. So pretty much felt like I was dying. But I persevered and I pushed myself into the ground. And I remember texting my friend saying I was in work and I just run 7 miles on a banana that I'd had all day. That's all I had, was just not on a banana. I don't run on a banana for 7 miles, but I'd only had a banana to consume. So I went back into the bay, and I was a painter, which is a physical job anyway, and I passed out. I literally fainted because I'd had no energy in me. So now I reached the goal well above my goal. I went from a 36-inch waist down to 27-inch waist in 2 months. So I turned up. I went from a size large T-shirt to a loose-fitting size small T-shirt. So now you've probably seen photos of me on my podcast. I've got a big head. So all it really did was shrink my shoulders down to bone size and just gave me an absolutely massive head. I thought I looked amazing. I look back and reflect on photos now and I go, you're a dick, James. But that was an unrealistic goal. And this is where I talk about setting yourself realistic goals. Put a decent time frame on it and how to include the goal into your life on a daily basis. So, like I said, I revert back to my education and I was like, okay, how do I include that? Well, evenings and weekends when I can without stressing myself out. If I can do it in work's time, even better. I contact my line manager and say, I got a day on my education. No problems at all, mate. We can spare you. So being open and honest about your employer and what your goals are will help you as well, if that is your goal. What you need to make it happen. So I'd researched it and went, I need X, Y, Z, education. I need those qualifications, and that's what I'll do. And I put a time frame on it. My time frame was a year. That's a long time, but it's not in the grand scheme of things. As I was talking to a friend of mine today, who I'm going to see at the end of the month for his 40th birthday, and I dragged up some old photos, and the last time we went out properly was for his last birthday when he was 30. So 10 years, a decade has passed. Unbelievable. I literally couldn't believe it when he said it. Another real top tip, and this worked for me massively, was break the goal into small, and I mean small, easy tasks. Use calendars, use reminder apps, whatever you need to do to remind yourself, to give you that focus time. Set yourself focus time to do these things. That could include if you were, using it for weight loss. You'd be like, well, I'm going to set myself half an hour a day to do exercise. So set yourself in that calendar. Set yourself in your mind that at that particular time, every single day, you are going to do half an hour exercise. If you've got a dog, brilliant. Incorporate it into a walk. I've done that. My goal is to lose a stone, because I don't want to lose too much weight, because I like being bulky to a degree, not chubby, but I've got a little bit of drift to lose around the midriff. So I've actually got a motivational factor. I'm going out for his 40th, so that's given me a couple of weeks to just change my mindset a little bit, and then when I come back, hopefully it will be the norm, the normality. So I've broken it down into nice, easy, manageable goals, and this is what I'm talking about by setting yourself a goal. So my goal now is the 5-year plan. I've also got a weight loss goal, which an exercise and fitness goal, and I'm going to do that in bite-sized chunks. So as and when I can and when I want to enjoy it. Not stress myself out that I'm going to go every single day, because that's out of my comfort zone to the point where I'm like, I won't enjoy it. But what I can do is 3 times a week at whatever period I choose to make sure I get an hour's exercise in. But what I have done is, because I've got a dog, I've also incorporated in healthy eating. So I'm back on Huel, which is a nutritious dinner. I'm back on breakfasts, which are nice and healthy, whereas I have my seeded bread with poached eggs and cracked black pepper with a bit of avocado, as I spoke about. And then my evening meal is a nice healthy evening meal, loads of fruit and veg, a couple of carbs. I still have my carbs, still get my bread, my seeded bread in the morning, because I like my bread. And that is my motivational sort of reminder, if you like. And then what I've done as well is incorporated 3 1.5 mile walks with my dog. And I do that daily. So 1.5 miles, we go out for a walk. I do it in the morning, I do it at dinner, and I do it at night. So he gets loads of exercise, and I get the exercise as well, but it's a relaxing exercise. Another amazing thing and this is where I always refer back to this, is use your family and friends to support you. Excuse me. It's okay having a goal. It really is okay to have a goal. But it's even better to have a goal that your friends and family are supporting you with. Tell them about your goal. What they will do is hopefully encourage you to keep motivated. So, for instance, one of my friends, he's on a weight loss path. He's lost his mind, he's lost his focus a little bit. And, we've said to him, get focused. How are you getting on, mate? Where are you doing? Oh, no, I've had this. Right, then put that aside, mate. Put the last 7 days aside. So what? Get back in it. Get back on, get focused, So they're there to help you. Your friends should be there to help you. And this is where I talk about nurturing the right people around you. If you've got the right people around you, they'll help you keep focused. It's so easy to get lost track of time. And if you're just reliant on yourself, tell your partner, tell your wife, husband, whatever. Even tell your children, because I tell my children I'm eating healthy. And then when they come down, they see me or something, they go, what are you doing, Dad? You're eating healthy. And I'm like, yeah, okay, you are right. And I'll put that biscuit down and I'll look for a healthy alternative. So it's really important to do that. And even if I've been out with friends and if I was on a serious weight loss sort of goal with my friends, they'd be like, dude, don't do that. I mean, I think I reflect back to a little while ago, actually, that my friend was on a dry January and we had a leave and do. And we pitched up and he wasn't drinking. So he was going to order a pint. And I went, you're 4 days away from completing dry January, mate. Just go the goal. Just what's the point in having 1 pint? There is no point in having 1 pint. And that was where the motivational factor was inspired by myself. And I don't mean it as in look at me. I mean it as in that I helped him and he helps me and vice versa for all of the people that are around me. So it's really important to talk about your goals. And if you've got a goal set, I mean, educational wise, there's not really many people to really sort of talk about, but at the same time, my friends encourage me and go, you've got this, mate, you'll smash it. I had those 4-day courses the other week, and my mates were like, I know it's a struggle, mate, but you will do it. And it kept me focused. And I did fail one exam, but like I said, 1 out of 4 ain't bad. So, in 4 days, and I've already booked my retake, so it's not a problem. It's not a problem at all. But they kept me focused and kept me generated. One of the things to really sort of kind of, when you lose that focus, it's really hard to get it back, isn't it? I know it is. And I struggle. I'm getting better at it. The more I acknowledge it, I'm getting better at it. But you need to keep on track. Ways to keep on those tracks are quite easy, to be honest. Make the goal part of your daily routine. That is one of the biggest parts for me, is make the goal part of your daily routine. Whether it's just an acknowledgement of that goal, whether it's, you're actively invested in that goal and it needs a daily reminder, you need to talk about it daily, because if you don't talk about your goal daily, as has been proven by my friend who didn't engage with us for over a week properly, and he's, fallen off the wagon, as they say, a little bit, but I think we need a little bit to keep focused. We need a little bit of leeway to enjoy life. But this is where I say you can still enjoy life and still keep your goals. You just don't have to, say for instance, it's a weight loss goal. You can have one day where you go, I'm just going to fucking relax, mate. I'm just going to eat what I want. I'm going to do what I want. That's fine doing that. When it progresses into the next day and you go, okay, that's fine. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. And you get to the third day, and that third day then becomes day 14. Day 14, you're still in that slump, except you feel shit, you feel sluggish, you're not in the clothes you were before the diet, and then you go, I'm back on. But what you could have done was gone, every other day, I'm going to eat unhealthy because it's my time off, or whatever you want to do. But you need to keep that focus, keep that goal, keep that drive. Positive talk is really important. I talk about positivity all the time, and that's where my sort of anxiety was, I say anxiety, it's such a strong word, but I try to incorporate positivity into everything I do, everything I talk about. I try to incorporate positivity because positive talk is so important and effective in managing the depression or anxiety. Instead of sort of saying I can't do this, say I can try to do it. I always reflect back to the quote from Audrey Hepburn, who says, "Nothing is impossible. The word itself says I'm possible." So if you put an apostrophe in between the I and the M, it says I'm possible. So even the word itself, impossible, says it is possible. And that's putting a positive spin on a negative word. And this is where I talk about the analogy of switching from a negative approach to a positive approach. Even if the subject is negative, try and take a positive approach on it. Positive talking is so, so important to any development. And Christ, we can all sit there and we can all bitch and moan, and we can all go into an office and you're guaranteed in that office someone will bitch and moan. That's just negative surrounding. I've noticed that since I've been working from home for 8 weeks and I'm not surrounded by everyone else's problems, that I don't listen to the negativity side now. And when I do go in, I'm like, hey, I'm a lot more positive when I see people because I'm not seeing them on a daily basis. And on a daily basis, you can hear about, oh, that such and such is doing fuck all, mate. Oh, such and such does nothing. When you hear that all the time, it's just like, yeah, okay, mate, that's quite grinding. It's quite depressing, isn't it? Because you're just harbouring negative thoughts, as I've spoke about before. Another thing to do, and this reflects back to what I do every single day, is mindfulness. Keeping focused, keeping relaxed. And what I tend to do as well is, like I said, I always incorporate that at least 15 minutes at the end of the day, preferably an hour. And on that hour, I think about things and I talk about my goal and I go, okay, did I achieve anything towards my goal today? Even if I didn't, the fact that I'm acknowledging my goal and the fact that I'm remembering my goal and I'm thinking about my goal keeps me focused. So I might turn around and say, we'll use weight loss as an analogy because it's quite an easy one, but that you can have whatever goal you want in life. But you can sit there and go, did I achieve my goal today? Okay, not particularly. I did eat that. I had one biscuit, I had a cup of tea, or I had whatever. However, I had a healthy breakfast and I've been out for 3 walks. So, yes, I did achieve my goal. Maybe not to its full advantage, but at the end of the day, I've got one life. I'm going to live it, but I'm going to live it the right way and I'm going to do things in moderation. So that reflection time you give yourself at the end of the day will help you assess your goal. Now, it might be a fleeting thought. It might just be, okay, did I achieve my goal today or anything on my goal today to getting promoted in the next 5 years? Or, getting my chartered status in IOSH? No, but I've remembered it. And then tomorrow I go, maybe tomorrow will be another day. And then it will come to a point where I've completed something. Like yesterday, for instance, I had my validation interview. So yeah, I 100% achieved my goal, part of my goal, because I got the validation interview, which brings me closer to my completion of my degree, which gives me closer to grad IOSH, which gets me closer to my chartered status. So I am working on my goal every day. But I acknowledge that. Reward yourself. And do you know what? I can relate to this really easily because my friend, who was on this and still is on this weight loss goal, he rewards himself for every day he doesn't eat bread and have unhealthy things. Rewards himself with £10 a day. Now, okay, that can be an extreme amount in some cases, but at the same time, I reflect back to, so he gives himself £10 a day on the basis of saving money to give himself some new clothes because he's losing weight. That's a fantastic motivational factor, isn't it? Because at the end of it, he's getting something new. He's getting the weight loss inspiration as he goes along. He's seeing the reward daily. So he's thinking about the reward daily. That's really important. Really, really important. My wife, she absolutely loves chocolate. So when she, when she's on her weight loss goals or she's doing a fitness thing, she rewards herself with a small bar of chocolate. And it will be at the end of the day when she's had a calorie deficit and she goes, okay, so it's 100 calories for I think she works on sins because she does the I can't remember what it's called. No, it's gone, completely gone. But she classes her meals in sins. So the more chocolate you have, like say for instance a bar of chocolate is 6 sins. So she breaks it down that she's allowed, and I think men are allowed 6 sins a day, women are allowed 3. So she'll go, okay, well, I can have half a bar of chocolate today. So she'll go and have a dairy milk. She'll have 3 little bars from it. She'll give her the fix. And she sees the physical reward, and she's enjoying the physical reward, and does it in such a way that she incorporates a nice cup of tea and a book. So she's in a comfort zone, and she's felt she's achieved that by eating healthy all day. She's allowed 3 sins, so she's taken her sin capacity to the maximum, which we should do. And she's getting results from it. Same as him, he's getting results. Same as me, I'm getting results in the fact that I've received my technical status and promotion and etc, etc. So it's really, really important, and why, and that's ways to keep on track. Ways to keep motivated are, this is where I sort of researched, and I really struggled because I was like, how the hell do you keep motivated? One of the things I established was regular review of your goals. So I write my goals down. I've got a little book, and I regularly review those goals, and I regularly look at those goals. I've got my podcast goals as well. So I keep in notes on my phone, regular motivational factors or topics to talk about, because I could be doing something like last night, for instance, because I spoke about a podcast, the mind was literally, zapping everywhere. So I was really invested because it was firing, so I stuck in some notes, some topics to talk about, and it gave me that motivational factor. So constantly review those goals. By reviewing those goals, you're going to see progress, and by progress you get that motivation, and it improves your self-esteem. It builds you up, builds your confidence. So you can almost incorporate that into the same viewpoint as mindfulness, because you're reviewing it daily, and it's giving you that self-esteem because you've done it. Continue to set new goals as well. Think about what you want to achieve next. Like I said, I got promoted. I settled in. As soon as I settled in, within a week, I was like, right, how do I get to the next goal? And let's set myself a realistic challenge, 5 years, so that I can give myself full commitment to the job. The new job, that is. And it gave me something to focus on for the next 5 years, because as men, we need focus in life. Women, they tend to have focus all over the place because, they're focused on themselves. They could have children. They could have their own work environment. So they're very focused. Men tend to be a little bit more difficult. And I remember speaking to my therapist, actually, and my doctor, saying, how the fucking hell do I just be happy? And he went, well, what's your goal, mate? And I was like, what do you mean, what's my goal? And this was years ago. And he went, you need a goal, mate. You need to set yourself a goal. My doctor and therapist was telling me this. You need to set yourself a goal. If you haven't got a goal, you're just going to go through every day expecting that day and being happy that you got through a day, rather than going, okay, well, I've got 5 years to do this. So you'll unpick everything as you go along. If you set yourself a long-term goal for at least one of your projects, what you'll do is you'll give yourself avenues to pursue and learn from as you bounce around. So I go along and go, oh, I've learned a new word today, or there's a new topic. What do you mean? I never heard of this. Like I said, I jumped into this job and it was Legionella. I didn't know about it. I was like, I need to learn Legionella. So I learned about Legionella and all the things incorporated. But what that did was maybe jump on LinkedIn and, connect with other people that were in Legionella field and understand, what they were doing. So I was researching new paths on my goal, and it inspired me to go, oh, bloody hell. And then what you did was, because I went on LinkedIn and I was going, oh, Legionella specialist, sat at this level, got this, I want that certificate. How do I get that certificate and that knowledge? So it gives you that motivation all the time. Keep momentum up, though. The only way you're going to do it is keep momentum up. You've got to keep momentum up. It takes, from the research I did, it takes up to 3 months to develop a new habit. People think that you're going to change overnight. People think that, oh, I ate rye bread today, or I ate seeded bread today. I didn't have a biscuit. Oh, it must mean that I've changed my habit. Look at me, I'm a winner. No, it's not at all. Because the next day, or even 3 or 4 days later, you've proven that wrong by eating a biscuit, or not changing your habit. You need to change your habits daily. If that means getting up early in the morning and you're going to go, I'm going to start getting up at 6 o'clock. Like I noticed quite easily, I used to get up at 6 o'clock and it was routine for me. I then creeped in, because I'm working from home, to getting up my alarm going off at 20 to 7, getting up at 10 to 7. I'd be done and in the shower and out of the shower by 5 past 7. 10 past 7, I'm out on the walk, do a mile and a half. I'm back in at 7:30 to log in. So I've got a routine, but at the same time, it's cutting everything fine. So, but it's become such the norm now that is my regular pattern. But I can change it. I will change it, because I want to get up a bit earlier and not be rushed around as much. I don't want to walk in at 7:30 and go, I want to be focused. I want to be energized. So take to account that it does take up to 3 months to develop a new habit. So it's really important to acknowledge that, though, when you're finding your way and you're building yourself, and we sort of redirect ourselves back to, making sure the goal is achievable. If you set yourself a 3-month goal, acknowledge the fact that it can take up to 3 months to make a new habit. So set yourself a realistic goal, 6 months, because then you'll see 3 months of habit change and significant improvements. Find a mentor as well. That could be a friend, that could be a family member, that could be your dad, mum, brother, sister, best friend, wife, husband, whatever. It can be anything. Find somebody who's going to help you. And this is where, again, we talk back about notifying and telling your friends. By telling your friends, they will help you bounce into it and keep you focused, because their one-liner every other day or their one-liner once a week might be the jolt you need to keep you focused. Oh yeah, I said to my mate this morning, I was like, how you getting on with your fitness, buddy? I've been off of it. Okay, well, get back on now, mate. Get out for a walk. Put that down. You've spoke to us, get out and do a walk. Came up on my watch that he'd been out for a walk, and I praised him and went, well done, mate. Absolutely banked. I sent him a little bank sign. Banked it, mate, because he's banked the exercise hours. He's done 1.5 miles. That's plenty when you've done nothing for 7 days, and it sort of incorporates 2 things on the next battle, that on how to keep focused and how to keep motivated, and that's surround yourself. And I always talk about this, Christ, till it bores myself, is surround yourself with positive people, positive friends, family. If you're surrounded by anybody negative, that is going to bring you down. And this is where you constantly need to review your support network. If you're surrounded by negative people, you will become negative. You will harbour negative thoughts. You will lose motivation. You need to stay focused. And I think that's where my biggest crux, or the biggest part of my problem was last week, was, all 4 of my motivational factors had dwindled away and lost. And, had a bit of negativity injected in, which I didn't like, lack of feedback, lack of positivity, and it influenced my daily pattern, because I was surrounded by people that were flat and not really interested. And I'm like, Christ, I'm the one with mental health issues here, and I'm more focused than everybody that's around me. It's really important, though, to keep focused. Keep surrounding yourself by the people that want to look after you and want to see you achieve that goal. And then it brings me on to part 2 of that, which is exercise daily. Because just getting outside there, and this morning, for instance, going on my walk this morning, the sun was rising, the dew was on the grass, I could smell the fresh air, and it just spurred me on to go, what a day, this is beautiful, this is what summer's about. Enjoying it and being influenced by it. It was and I got out for exercise, so I came back and I was like, right, ready for a cup of tea to warm the cockles, because it was still, remembering we're in April, not June, so I expected to be a lot warmer. We've been blessed with a bit of warm weather recently. So the exercise helped me, and I came in, and admittedly, I came in a little bit, I needed to motivate myself a little bit more, and I did. I self-motivate myself to carry on and talk about this podcast. And it sort of draws me on, really, to the most probably important part of this topic. And, what do you do when you lose motivation? And really, this is a build-up to what I was wanting to talk about. Setbacks are normal, though. And this is where we need to understand that, a setback, I get setbacks every day. There'll be a setback in some sort of formation. But I'm trying to develop a resilience, I couldn't say it then, a resilience to build that, to knock those back, build up my barriers to go, I'm not going to acknowledge that setback. I'm going to embrace that and look at that as that was a challenge and it nearly won, but I'm not going to allow it to win. So you start developing resilience to those setbacks, and you've acknowledged those setbacks, and you've gone, okay, I've had 7 days off, for instance, or I've had, I took an 6 month sabbatical last year from my education because I wanted to learn my job from the foundation up. So I did that, and then I was ready. So I gave myself a 6 month break and went, right, I'm going to start my education now. So I started my degree then in November. And from November last year, when I started it, to what we're in now, April, I've completed, like I said yesterday, a 3-year degree in less than a year. And hopefully I'll complete the whole thing in less than a year, because that has kept me focused. I've acknowledged that there was some setbacks. I wasn't quite up there from a ground level. I jumped in feet first, so I acknowledged that. I built up resilience and learned the job from the ground up. Some tips really that kind of I utilised, and I've said these just a minute ago, but I'm going to re-emphasise on them. Review your goals and ensure they're realistic. In the time frame you've set. Don't set stupid time frames. Set yourself a realistic time frame. Whether it will be, we set time frames for everything and we don't realise it. We set time frames for getting married. So we go, okay, we're going to get married in a year's time. So that gives me the motivation to make sure that everything's in place. We're going to plan for a child now, because I feel we're ready in life to plan for a child. Not that I think you'll ever be ready for a child in life, because trust me, when you have a child, I've got 3 girls, you're never quite ready for it. But, it's a challenge. But you set yourself that goal. So we set goals all the time, but we don't set goals for really important factors that develop our life. Education, promotion, aspirations. Like I said, I set a goal to, do a backflip on a wakeboard, and I went, I'm going to do that in 6 months. I did it in 3. I set myself a realistic goal, and in 3 months I did it. So I had the reward of doing the backflip, had the reward of achieving my goal, and I had the reward of it being videoed and absolutely loving the fact that I can do a backflip off a kicker on a wakeboard. And I started it at 35. So the peak of my life, if you listen to the last podcast. So set those realistic goals. You may even set a goal and realise that you've actually overwhelmed yourself, and you need to make it into a bit more of a bite-sizable chunk. So you might go, okay, well, I've got a level 6 degree. I'm going to get this completed in a year. Whoa! And then you'll get, like I did, I got 3 or 4 months in and went, bloody hell, mate, you don't know jack shit. What are you starting at level 6 for? Not realising, because I was given bad advice, but not realising that I needed to hit level 2, 3 and possibly 5 before I hit 6. So, but I took that challenge. I accepted that I jumped in feet first, and I went, okay, I'm going to give myself a 6 month break. I'm going to learn my job. I'm going to get comfortable in my job as a health and safety advisor, and then I'm going to start it with this new information. So I analysed and broke down my achievable goal. One of the biggest factors is remembering why you've got this goal. Remember why you've got the goal. Stay focused and reach that goal in the first place. Get there. Don't dwindle. Don't let things, outside factors, draw you down and drag you down. Actually stay focused. Actually stay on that path. Make those, and this is where it's all incorporated in making the goal achievable, making it manageable, making it bite-sized, so you can just go, I can do that, because that is a week's, I'll break it down. It's a 6 month goal, but I'm going to break it down into 1 month. So I'm going to pull it back and go, okay, rather than losing 2 stone in 6 months, I want to lose 1 stone or 3-4 pounds in the first month to give myself a goal. Can I do that? And then you'll get to the end of the month and hopefully you've received your weight loss of 3 pounds, possibly even more. And then that gives you that driving factor. If it's more, brilliant. And then you'll get to a midway point and you'll probably start plateauing a little bit, because we all hit a wall in life. You'll plateau a bit and you go, okay, I need to step up my game, take myself out of the comfort zone to achieve this next goal. So break them down into, bite-sizable chunks. Take motivation as well from others, and that's what I do all the time. I look at my friends and I look at my family and I go, oh, they can do that. Why can't I do that? I want to do that. So I listen to a lot of audiobooks. I listen to, I read and research a lot of internet profiles and a lot of internet videos, because it keeps me focused. I talk to, say for instance, to give you a great example of a mentorship, on my IOSH program, to get to my chartered, they do offer you a mentor program. So I've sort of spoke with this lady from up north who's been a health and safety advisor. She's a chartered member on a path to a fellowship. And, she's had similar goals. She gave herself certain goals to do certain things. So we've had a chat on Skype and it was absolutely fantastic. Never met this woman. We had a great conversation, and she motivates me by liking my LinkedIn posts or sending me messages, how's things going. So she's a fantastic mentor. And if you've got somebody around you that is really invested in better in their life, and this is where I talk about nurturing those positive sort of friends and family around you, it's really important to have them help you and you help them. But ultimately, one of the biggest, if you lose that motivation, is just take a break. Give yourself a week's break or whatever break you require. If it's a 5-year plan, say to yourself, like I did last year, I need a 6-month break because I don't think I'm going to achieve this. To achieve that goal, I'm going to stress myself out massively. So don't. Set yourself a bite-sizable, manageable goal and then turn around and go, do you know what, I need a break. If it's a weight loss goal, go, I'm going to take a week off. I'm going to take a week off the exercise because I'm pushing myself too hard. I'm going to enjoy life again. I'm going to reset, and then I'm going to re-engage. But at the same time, if you're going to do that and you're going to take a break, tell your mentor, tell your friends, tell your family you're doing that. Say, oh yeah, guys, sorry, I'm going to take a break for 7 days off my fitness plan. And then when that 7th day comes, and on the 7th day, I guarantee if you've nurtured the right people around you, they will message you. Right, buddy, let's get back on it. And that is when you will go, I'm with the right people. I'm with the right people to make my life better. So there's some really good tips there that I learned, to the point where they stuck in my head, just rattle them off because I was like, well, it's relatable. And it's not stuff I haven't spoken about before, to be honest. It's stuff I talk about all the time, nurturing the right people around you, staying positive, give yourself a bite-sizable chunk goal. Don't set it so it's unrealistic. Like I said, don't set a goal to lose 2 stone in 4 weeks. You'll do it, but you won't enjoy the process, and it will have an adverse effect on your life. It's like, for instance, quite a relatable topic, that if you drink a certain alcohol and you drink it to the point where we've all done this, if you're drinking alcohol and you go, right, I really like the taste of this vodka and orange, for instance. And I remember drinking vodka and orange when I was about 19, and I'd never had vodka and orange before. And it was vodka and lemonade, but everyone was like, oh, it's healthier for orange, mate. And I remember I drank vodka and orange, and I drank it to the extremity that I literally threw up later on that evening. And, alcoholic orange juice coming out your nose is never a good feeling. And it put me off for years, drinking vodka, because I couldn't stand the smell of it, and orange. To the point now, if someone has a vodka and orange around me and I smell it, it draws me straight back there. So it's important not to do something to the point where you never want to do it again. And if that means taking a break, that means taking a step back for a little while you reset. But at the same time, if it's a weight loss goal, just carry on the healthy eating but remove the exercise, or carry on the exercise but remove the healthy eating so you get enjoyment out of your food if you're like me, a big foodie. But at the same time, do one or the other, but do it in moderation. Don't go and just say, I'm going to have, I think if you ever watch MMA, Paddy Pimlet, Paddy the Baddy, they call him. I've been following this guy for quite a while, and he absolutely is a beast. He is going to be probably the next Conor McGregor, I think. Just because of his flamboyance and showmanship. But he was absolutely ripped on his last MMA fight. And then within a week, he ballooned because he just consumed so much alcohol. And everyone's like, oh my God, he's fat as hell. He's not. It's just, it'll just be bloat because he's eating too many carbs and all that sort of stuff. But he needs that because he's starved himself of these luxuries in life because he's been doing fitness. So, but at the same time, he still kept up his fitness goal, just ate like hell, so he still did a little bit of fitness. So it's really important to carry on in some sort of way with your goal, even if that means just acknowledging it on an evening and going, yeah, okay, well, today was a bit crap, had a bit of a shit day, didn't really do much education or didn't do much fitness, but I'm acknowledging that, and tomorrow will be a better day, and you'll wake up and you'll inspire yourself. So motivation and depth there, really. I hope it's given you some. It certainly last night gave me some, really. And I do this without even realising it now, and that's where I've changed that. And it's been more than 3 months, so it's now become a changed habit for me. I've developed a new habit to make sure I incorporate that. And here we are now, 4 months into my podcast journey, and I've still kept up with it weekly. I've obviously, slipped a little bit. I have the odd day here and there, but I've kept focused. But also, at the same time, the friends around me have kept me focused. And I think that's where I dwindled a little bit, because my friends around me didn't motivate me as they normally would, because they maybe have their own issues going on. So, I've self-motivated myself because I've turned it into a new habit. By incorporating the new habit, here I am. I'm on it. I'm back there and enjoying it. Here I am. I've just looked down 66 minutes into it because I'm enjoying the process again. And it's easy to lose your way, but by reflecting and talking about it, and I remember messaging my friends last night saying I'm going to do a podcast, and I did, and despite how sad I sound, it was really important that I did that, because that was what my motivation was. My motivational driving factor is to be part of the mental health scene, because I've lived it and hated it, and I want to embrace it, and I want to help people to invest in themselves and build themselves up. So, and here I am, I'm doing it. So thank you very much for listening. I won't take too much of your time because I'm acknowledging I'm well over my usual. But it's so important when you get a topic that you really, really enjoy and it's a life-changing topic. It's really easy to get engrossed. But yeah, my dinner hour is over, so I'm going to trundle on back to work. But thank you very much for listening. And I hope you have an absolutely fantastic week. And keep motivation and talk about it amongst your friends and family. You'll be surprised how much they do motivate you when you talk about a goal so much. They'll know how much you're passionate about it, and they'll keep you on the straight and narrow, as they say. Have a fantastic rest of the week, and I look forward to talking to you again soon. Take care, everyone. Bye.